Hello everyone, my name is Makeda Voletta, also known as Queen Lioness and the Body Scientist and the Renaissance Amazon. And I'm here today to do a video on the sacred and lovely ancient bee priestesses and all the lovely foods and medicinal foods that bees supply us with. And this is a topic that I've been studying for some years now. Okay, so where do I begin? The sacred and beautiful bees are symbols of the goddess. And as many people know with bees, they're very matriarchal. Not just matriarchal, but the female bees are the only ones that really have a purpose. Like, bees are obsessed with working. And that's all they do their whole entire life is work. All the worker bees are female bees. The male bees, the whole purpose of their life, the drones, the whole purpose of their life is to try to impregnate the queen. And that's it. They don't work, they can't feed themselves. So their life goal is to impregnate the queen, and if they succeed in that, what happens is their phallus goes inside the queen and it snaps off and breaks off inside of her, and then they die. So if they do succeed in their mission, their life's mission to impregnate the queen, they die immediately after that. And a lot of times the female bees will kill drones because they're kind of in the way. They can't feed themselves, they don't work. And again, the bees are obsessed with being resourceful and working and being productive. The queen bee, her job is to lay as many eggs as possible, to give birth to as many new bees, new worker bees as possible. And if the bees don't feel like she's being productive enough, they'll kill her and create a new queen bee. Now, the queen bees are created from something called royal jelly that the bees create. And royal jelly is what makes the queen bee so fertile. And also studies have shown that when royal jelly is given to animals, it makes them a lot more fertile, including humans. So it's a good fertility food, royal jelly. It's a sacred food for the bees. And we have honey. Everybody knows about honey. Honey has lots of medicinal purposes. I have a video on YouTube about raw milk and raw honey that you should check out, where I talk about that as well. But honey is full of nutrients and all kinds of super enzymes and antioxidants and healthy things that are good for our skin and our immune system. And then the bees also produce bee pollen. They produce wax. Bee pollen is also very good, especially for people who have allergies in their local area. Like, you know, wherever you live, if you have allergies, consuming bee pollen can help with that. And so can local raw milk. And the foods of the bees are used as for fertility, to control fertility, to make a woman less fertile. Raw honey was used as a spermicide in a lot of ancient traditions, and royal jelly can make us more fertile. Honey wine, which is the most ancient fermented beverage, even older than beer, was fermented by women, specifically wild women. Okay, and I'm not an expert on that ancient history from that part of the world, but in that Greece part of the world, there was a place where they called wild women maenads. M-A-E-N-A-D, maenads. And they brewed honey wine, which was known as mead. Many people know about honey wine from Ethiopia, but Ethiopians were not the only ones that made honey wine. Honey wine is found all over the world. What's commonly found now is honey wine from Ethiopia and mead from England. But no matter where it was made, it was fermented by women. And it's also an aphrodisiac. It's really the only wine that I love, but honey wine is an aphrodisiac. It's known to be that. And honey wine can be made with different medicines and different medicinal herbs. There are a lot of people today who are against drinking alcohol and against any type of herbs, but in indigenous ceremonies, those are important. Alcohol and the burning and smoking of various herbs, and even combining the two. It's important for that trance state. So they're always a part of rituals and ceremonies. So mead, honey wine, was fermented by ancient wild women. Okay, so what do I mean by wild women? Well, 666, the number that everybody knows as being the number of the devil or something, is actually Aphrodite's sacred number. And Aphrodite was a bee priestess. There are bee priestesses found out throughout the world. Aphrodite was connected to sexuality and owning her sexuality. And so wild women are women who own their own sexuality. They do what they want. You know, they're not tame women. Nowadays, what prevents women from being that way is that we're told, oh, like, what if you get a disease? What if you get pregnant? What if this? What if that? And so all the fear keeps women from like really embodying that when that is who we all are at our core. Instead, men are encouraged to be that way. And if we know that also raw honey kills the HIV virus and kills different STDs, and there is evidence of that. I will try to post some of the stuff that I have on the bottom of my YouTube video, because like I said, I've been researching this for a long time. Raw honey is shown to kill lots of viruses and disease-causing organisms as well. Okay, so it has very potent medicinal properties. And again, being able to be used as a spermicide, women always had control over our fertility. We weren't just some like dumb woman that just randomly got pregnant and didn't know how to prevent that. That's what we're taught now, that unless you're taking some birth control from the medical industry, like you don't know what you're doing and you could get pregnant. No, we did know how to control our fertility. And we knew how to get pregnant if we wanted to, okay? And so these bee priestesses are found throughout the world. Many people, especially a lot of black people and Afro-Indigenous people in the Americas, now speak about Oshun, who's a Yoruba goddess who is also a bee priestess. But when people speak about her, which for me, I've studied a lot of Afro-Cuban dance, and we learn a lot about these deities by doing their dances. But I remember some teachers, they would explain about Oshun, and they would say, oh, you know, she has a mirror, and she's always looking at herself in the mirror because she's vain, and she's so beautiful, she always wants to look at herself. And then they also said that, oh, she has a pot of honey, and honey is sweet, to remind you of the sweetness in life, and that sweet thing, which probably has some truth, but it's not the full story. When you look at ancient burial grounds of priestesses, ancient priestesses throughout the world, they're often buried with mirrors. They have mirrors and buried with them. When you look at shamans in Asia, a lot of times the females, they have these little circular mirrors on their outfits. And there are a lot of priestesses who are buried with obsidian mirrors as well. Priestesses use obsidian mirrors to divine. And mirrors were used for that purpose by priestesses, okay? So Oshun may have looked at herself in the mirror because she thought she was beautiful, but I think the story was twisted. I think she also looked at the mirror because that's what priestesses use for divination. I think that she probably carried that pot of honey because, yes, to remind us of the sweetness, but also because Oshun is the goddess that rules over fertility. Whereas Yemaya is the one that's dealing with motherhood and that whole motherhood. But if you want to get pregnant, then Oshun is the one. She's the seductive one. Even though all goddesses have different phases, they all have the dark phase, they all have the crone dark phase, they all have their young, beautiful phase. But Oshun is known to be that super flirtatious one, the beautiful one, the seductive one, who seduces with sensuality. And that's what you need to do if you want to be pregnant, really. I mean, throughout nature, different animals do things to seduce each other. So, and the human species, for the most part, it's the woman. Not always, but the woman is usually the seductive one that's being super pretty to get the man's attention. The more that you can get the man's attention and get him excited visually, the stronger his erection will be, the stronger his ejaculation will be. And so when you're talking about fertility, seduction and beauty is a part of that. And it's something a lot of people don't want to talk about, but it's a part of that. And you learn that too when you do dances, okay? Whether they're Yoruba, Afro-Cuban, Afro-Brazilian, Orisha dances, or whether they are Congolese dances for harvesting yucca, or yams, or whatever it is, or whether it's belly dancing that is helpful for giving birth, but also is a seductive dance. And sometimes people want to cut that out and just say, oh, it's only for women and only for childbirth. No, it also has the seductive quality too, because if you think about it, anybody who's a doula or has given birth or has seen women in labor, the positions that women usually get into in labor are usually the same positions that they got into during sex that got them pregnant. So the two are connected. The sounds that women make in labor, a lot of times are very deep moans, like the sounds that women make in sex. So they are connected. Okay, so if you move a certain way to work a baby out, that's also the same way you move during sex to work everything up for conception to happen. So they are connected. And that is one of the lessons that the bee priestesses teach us. And, you know, honey is, in the foods of the bees, are very medicinal. When you look at the bees, you see a model where the females do all the work, they run everything. Bees dance to communicate, and they're very sacred animals. There's been a lot of talk lately about the bees disappearing, but it's not just the bees. If you notice, like I've noticed, I don't see fireflies like I used to. When I was a little girl growing up in New York, in the summer, like as soon as it started getting dark, you would see these lights everywhere, fireflies everywhere. I noticed I haven't seen that since I was like 12, you know? I haven't seen one. I saw some in Costa Rica that were orange, which I never saw before in my life. I've always seen lime green ones, but they're non-existent. Butterflies I don't see anymore, you know? I saw lots of butterflies in Costa Rica, very, very fertile land. But I don't see butterflies in New York like that anymore. It's rare, and you might see a little one. They're not really that colorful. They're not like it used to be. So it's not just the bees that are having a problem, but the bees are connected to the sun goddess. They are connected to the goddess in general, but specifically the sun and the sun goddess. And I encourage women and men to research the bee priestesses. There's a lot for women to learn about that. I'm always speaking about why it's important for women to increase our orgasmic potential and have more orgasms and open up. Because as women, we have yin bodies. Our bodies are vessels. They're yin. They hold on to stuff. And in order for us to balance that with yang, we have to release more. And so these wild woman bee priestesses, which we probably don't know about because patriarchy has destroyed so many things and rewritten stories. Hence, we don't get the full story about Oshun. But there are bee priestesses. It's not unique to any one culture. There are bee priestesses throughout the world. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about this topic. I don't think so. But I do encourage you to research the foods of the bees and how they affect fertility. So again, royal jelly can make us more fertile. Raw honey can be used as something that can kill disease-causing organisms and can be used as a spermicide. Honey wine is an aphrodisiac, and that's that. Don't know what else to say about the topic, so I won't make this video 25 minutes like most of my videos. I always encourage people to do their own research. I just hope that this video encouraged some thought and some critical thinking, and for you to go and research it. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, please join my YouTube page. Thanks so much. Bye guys.